Investigators say Eric Ashley, Arkia Berry, and her 5-year-old son Landyn Brooks were fatally shot yesterday evening around 5:30. Officers found them.
A heartbreaking and brutal tragedy has unfolded in Birmingham, Alabama. On the morning of July 13th, Arkia Kia Berry, her 5-year-old son Landyn Brooks, and her boyfriend Eric Ashley Jr. were found dead in a vehicle, the apparent victims of a deliberate ambush. This tragic incident has left a grieving community and an ongoing investigation in its wake. Tonight, we bring you the story of this devastating event, exploring the victims' lives, the investigation, and the growing search for justice. On the morning of July 13th, police in Birmingham were called to the scene of what appeared to be a routine car accident on the 1700 block of Indian Summer Drive in the Echo Highlands neighborhood.
We've deployed all of our detectives in the Birmingham Police Department to focus on these two particular cases to bring justice.
The scene, however, quickly revealed something far more disturbing. Officers discovered a wrecked vehicle with 3 occupants inside: Arkia Kia Berry, her young son Landyn Brooks, and her boyfriend Eric Ashley Jr. Sadly, all 3 were dead. Initial reports from the Birmingham Police Department suggested that the crash appeared to be an accident. However, as officers began investigating further, they soon determined that this was not the case. The victims had been shot multiple times, and their deaths seemed to be part of a carefully executed ambush. There were no signs of struggle in the vehicle, leading authorities to suspect that the victims had been caught off guard by someone they knew, or at least someone who had been able to approach them without suspicion.
And for those who are responsible for those heinous crimes, I want you to know that we will be coming for you.
The location of the crash only added to the mystery. The vehicle had been driven into a cul-de-sac, a secluded area far from the main road. The decision to crash in such a remote spot suggested that the attack had been carefully planned. Investigators now believe that the victims were specifically targeted, and the crash site was chosen because of its isolation. As the case unfolded, it became clear that this was not a random incident, but a carefully executed and violent act. Arkia Kia Berry, just 28 years old, was a vibrant young woman with a promising future. Known for her warm and caring nature, Arkia worked as a licensed cosmetologist, dedicated herself to her career as a hairstylist. She was passionate about her work, taking pride in providing for her family, and was a well-known figure in the local community. Her clients, family members, and friends all described her as a loving, upbeat individual with a heart full of compassion. But beyond her career and community involvement, Arkia was first and foremost a devoted mother. She loved her 5-year-old son, Landyn Brooks, with all her heart. Landyn was described as a happy, energetic child who was excited to start kindergarten in the fall. He loved superheroes, especially Spider-Man, and was already dreaming of a future full of adventure. Family members recalled how Landyn would light up any room with his energy and enthusiasm, often talking about playing football one day, just like the players he admired on TV. Eric Ashley Jr., Arkia's boyfriend, was also just 28 years old. He was a loving partner to Arkia and a father figure to Landyn. Eric was described as kind, dependable, and hardworking. He had a background in construction and was known for his strong work ethic and commitment to his family. Those close to him said he had a deep love for Arkia and Landyn, always supporting them and helping to build a stable and loving home. Eric and Arkia had big dreams for their future, making plans together for a life full of happiness and stability. Those dreams were tragically cut short that fateful morning.
Officers found them in a crashed car on Indian Summer Drive. That's right near the Echo Highlands neighborhood.
As soon as investigators arrived at the scene, they began to piece together the events surrounding the deaths of Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. The police quickly realized that this was no ordinary crime. The location of the crash, combined with the fact that all 3 victims had been shot and killed, indicated that this was a planned, targeted attack. But the question remained, why were they killed and who was responsible? In the early stages of the investigation, police focus on gathering as much information as possible. They scoured the area for surveillance footage, spoke with witnesses, and interviewed anyone who might have had contact with the victims in the hours before the killings. Despite their efforts, the case proved difficult to crack. The police were tight-lipped about the details of their investigation, likely hoping to avoid tipping off the suspect or suspects. However, as the days turned into weeks, it became clear that the motive behind the killings was still a mystery. The speculation within the community was rampant. Was this a random act of violence? Or was there a deeper, more personal reason behind the killings? Police looked into possible connections to gang activity, personal disputes, and any other lead that might provide answers. Yet, despite the growing concern and public outcry, no arrests were made, and the investigation seemed to stall. As the investigation continued, the people of Birmingham struggled to come to terms with the senseless loss of Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. The tragedy shook the community to its core, and many were left searching for answers. Family and friends gathered to remember the lives of the victims. While the community as a whole mourned the loss of a young mother, her child, and her boyfriend. A candlelight vigil was held at Wahoma Park, a location that had been a place of joy and celebration for many. That evening, however, the park was filled with sorrow. People lit candles and shared memories of Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. The vigil became an opportunity for the community to grieve together, while also showing their support for the families affected by the tragedy. For many, it was an emotional and powerful gathering, a way to honor the victims and express solidarity during a time of immense pain. Months passed without any major breakthroughs, and frustration grew among the community and the victims' families. But in February 2025, there was a major development in the case. The Birmingham Police Department announced the arrest of 25-year-old Jacorrian McGregor, who was charged with 3 counts of capital murder in connection with the deaths of Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. The arrest came after months of intense investigation, during which police gathered evidence, reviewed witness statements, and followed up on numerous leads. It was a tip that ultimately led investigators to McGregor. While authorities have not revealed a clear motive for the killings, they are confident that McGregor was responsible for the ambush that claimed the lives of Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. The arrest brought a sense of relief to the victims' families, but the pain of their loss still lingers. As the legal process continues, the people of Birmingham remain committed to seeking justice for Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. McGregor's arrest is an important step in the case, but many questions remain. What led to this brutal ambush? What was McGregor's motive? And why were these 3 innocent lives taken in such a violent and senseless way? The families of the victims are determined to see the case through to the end. They continue to advocate for justice, speaking out about the impact of the killings on their lives and the community as a whole. Their hope is that, through the legal system, they can finally find closure and ensure that those responsible for this horrific crime are held accountable. As the case continues to unfold, we will continue to follow developments and bring you the latest updates. For now, we remember Arkia Kia Berry, her son Landyn Brooks, and her boyfriend Eric Ashley Jr., 3 lives taken far too soon. Our thoughts remain with their family and friends during this difficult time. Stay with us for more updates.